Facebook, please fasten your seatbelts and let us know. We are going there to be there soon, and we are very much live. Okay, so I can switch this off here. And so we'll get started here. Dear devotees, thank you so much for joining us here on Facebook, as well as those of you who are joining us.
Correct. She's not there.
I think Shraddha Mataji went off. I don't know how that happened.
It suddenly happened, Mataji.
Yeah.
She'll come back.
We're on live.
Do you think she knows Varshana Mataji?
I don't know, Mataji. Just send her the message or call.
Yeah. I called her.
Okay. Mataji, you are on mute. Shraddha Mataji.
I know, yes.
What happened? Instead of shutting us off, you only shut off, got shut off.
Yeah. I've set up the system to behave that way, that even if the host gets lost, then the meeting should not stop, right? Because then the broadcast will stop and everything will stop. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. Maybe there was a dip in the network and I got thrown out. So I was relishing 4.31. I don't know how much of this you heard.
Nothing.
Okay. So 4.31, and then I'm not even sharing that with you, right?
No.
Yes. So that will be a good idea to share it with you. And okay. Nayam lokosya ayagyasya kutonya kuru sattama. Nayam lokosya yagyasya kutonya kuru sattama. Nayam lokosya ayagyasya kutonya kuru sattama. So, something very special about this verse. Can you tell me what is so special about this verse?
This verse has got only two parts, not four.
There's only one line. Yeah, there's only one line. Here, it has got only one line. You see on the top? This is only one. Usually they have two. So it is the shortest verse in Bhagavad-gita. Somebody asked you what it is? 4.3.1. 4 minus 1 equals 3. Remember it that way, 4.31. And so chapter 4, we have been talking about transcendental knowledge, and we have been talking about yajna. And we talked about the various ways and various types of yajnas that we do. So nayam lokosya yajnasya kutonya kuru sattama. So Krishna, after telling him about the various types of yajnas that can be held, starting with, when you do yajna, everything becomes transcendental when the yajna is for the Lord, the famous verse, Brahma.
Yeah.
What is that verse?
Brahma arpanam Brahma have. Brahmagnav Brahmana hutam. Brahmaipatena gantavyam. Brahma karma samadhina.
Samadhina, right?
Samadhina.
right? So from starting from the verse, then he's starting and telling Arjun about different kinds of yajnas. And the reason he's trying to emphasize, he's emphasizing on that is because Arjuna is ready to leave everything and go and sit in the Himalayas. And Krishna is saying, well, that's not the only yajna, that people do. You could be engaged very much in the household life and you could still be performing sacrifices. And then here in this verse, he's kind of, talking more about the importance of sacrifice. And he's giving such a strong statement here. Oh, best of the Kuru dynasty. What is best of the Kuru dynasties in Sanskrit?
Arjun.
Mm-hmm. And in Sanskrit, what is that called?
Oh,
Sattama. Kuru Sattama.
Kuru Sattama. Kuru Sattama. Uttama. So, right. Kuru Sattama. Oh, best of the Kuru dynasty without sacrifice. So, what is without sacrifice in Sanskrit?
Ayagnyasya.
Yeah. Ayagnyasya.
Ayagnyasya.
Okay. So, oh, best of the Kuru dynasties without sacrifice, one can never live happily in this planet or in this life. What to talk of the next life? So this is such a powerful statement, right? If you don't do sacrifice of some sort, you won't live happily here. What are you thinking about the other life?
Yes, that's true.
And we know that people, and other life can be of very many varieties. Like when we think about our next life, what are the ways in which one can aim for having a next life? If you were given a choice to okay, now you have to have a next life. If Krishna comes and says, you have a choice. You have a choice.
I want to go to Krishna's lotus feet or Goloka.
Yeah. So that is the first choice, right? So you say, okay, Krishna, that is one choice. My next life, I want to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. And he says, next best, tell me, next best. Then what will you say? Or what would anybody in general say? Typically.
Give me birth in a place where all the devotees are there. Give me birth in a devotee's house.
Give me her birth in a devotee's house, or give me devotee association, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's another way people can ask for next life, right?
Mm.
And then you don't have to answer from your perspective, but tell me in general how people in the world will ask if they are given that, hey, you have to think about the next life. For example, we're always thinking about the future, right? I mean, right from the day people join a job at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, whatever age they join and start working and earning money, what does the company tell them to do? Invest in 401k, invest in provident fund. Why? Because even within this lifetime, there is a life, right? Even within this lifetime, there is a retired life. And they are saying a time will come when there will be no money coming in to your bank. Fortnight after fortnight or month after month. It won't come. So we have to think and we have to prepare about that part of the life, right? So people do that. When children are young, the parents tell them, right? If you don't study, you won't get a good job. You won't be able to live happily. So you're planning for your next phase of life, right? Similarly, when you get going and then you are, working, then they are telling you about retirement, that you have to prepare for that life, right? And if you follow the Varnashram system, it talks about Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So people are always planning for that. But then we extend on the time millennium, and they say, Utkramantam stitham vapi bhunjanam vavurantan. Utkramantam stitham. Either you are situated in this body, or you have stepped out of it. So once you step out of the body, where are we going? What is the destination? There should be some destination there, right? So when you have a destination, then you have to have the means of achieving that destination, some plan of achieving the destination. So so then if people agree that there is life after death, then the question is, then where should I go? And is there anything that I can do about it, right? So at least in the early part, you all talked about where you can go. One wanted to go to Goloka Vrindavan, never come back. One said, okay, fine, if you're not giving me that choice, then I want to be born in a devotee family. What other choices do you think people can ask for?
People who are not devotees can ask for any number of things.
Give me a few, yeah.
That I want to be very wealthy in my next life, not having to work much and have all the opulences that I didn't get in this life.
In this life, one can be wealthy, right? And then what if somebody says that, oh, yeah, all that is fine, but even if I'm wealthy, I perspire too much and, life is still short. I'll have to die and leave it all again. So what do I do? So then what do we do? I want a long life. So how can I get a long life? How will you get a long life? What do you have to do in your next birth to get a long life?
Yajna.
Be healthy.
Some kind of yajna.
So if you want a long life, then you have to make sure that you go to the higher planetary system in your next life. Because in higher planetary system, the life is longer, right?
Oh, okay.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
So now you have to do something to qualify yourself to go there. For example, you have to pass the high school to, go to graduate school, right? You have to pass certain exams to become a doctor. You have to pass certain exams to get entrance into engineering college, medical college, and so on and so forth, right? So similarly, if you want entrance into the heavenly planets, then you have to do something here, right? So something has to be done. So people figured that out. People figured that out that, that if I have to, if you're telling me there is another life, I should be able to invest and do something about the other life as much as I invest in my Provident Fund account or 401k account. I should be able to do that. Right? So basically figure that out. And then guess what? Vedescha sarve ahamevo Veda. Krishna gave the Vedas, right? The purpose of the Vedas was to understand Krishna, but the Vedas will also give you other items, like how do you go to higher planetary systems and enjoy a better life. So people can ask for that. And sometimes your next life, if you don't indulge in any of these things, but you still have desires, your next life and your next body kind of gets governed by various factors. You might not even get a human body. Right? So Krishna is saying that, hey, people make plans of being happy, healthy, wealthy in the other life, in the next life. People talk about doing all that. But he's saying that, if you don't do sacrifices, you won't even live happily in this life. What to talk about, doing some sacrifices to get to higher planets, and the highest planet is Goloka Vrindavan, right? So from the material going all the way up to the transcendental, there's various ways in which people can go. But he's saying that if you don't do yajna, so he's making such a huge stress on the importance of sacrifice in our life. Right.
But Shraddha Mataji, when we ask for a long life, or if anyone asks for a long life, we always, we know that it's old age, disease is always going to be there, right? So it's not like that you are guaranteed a long, happy life.
Yes, and that's the catch, that's a loophole. And the foolish don't understand that. As a young child, I used to think that, I used to see people dying. We used to live near a crematorium ground. So every other day, somebody would be cremated. So I was constantly thinking about death. And it was like, I don't want to die. I want to live. Is it somehow possible? Can I simply ask God and he will answer my prayers and make me live 1,000 years? And now at 60, it's like, this part hurts, that part hurts. What will you do at 90? What will you do unless you're healthy, right? And engaged in devotional service? Then there is a need. People, and we read that when we were talking about pranayam as one of the ways of sacrifices. We said that the yogis will they offer the outgoing breath into the ingoing breath, and they maintain equilibrium, and they stop breathing itself. And because everybody is granted a certain number of breaths, right? So if they stop breathing, they live longer. So if you have short breaths, then you live shorter. That's the doctors will also tell you, right? And if you breathe deeply, then you have a longer life. And more you extend your breathing, that's what pranayama goes and tells you. And even after doing that, your life cannot be happy. You can still not be happy, right? So if I learned that, I go to yoga, I have a good body and all that, I can still have heartaches, right? So the best way, so devotees don't mind because they don't worry too much about the bodily discomforts, because devotees are accustomed to bodily discomforts, right? How many of you had bodily discomforts yesterday? There you go, right?
Yeah.
It happens every day. And then especially yesterday was even worse. It was Ekadashi. No food. What a discomfort it is. And I was just thinking about that. And I was just laughing, and I was telling somebody today that last night I was working. We have the yatra coming for ISV yatra for January, and I was making preparations for that. And one of the preparations was to nail down what is going to be the menu when we are in Calcutta. And so I picked up the menu from last year, 2 or 3 years ago when we came to Calcutta. I called up India, talked to the people there, and they said, I said, okay, what is that which is now? He said, I'll send you the menu. And he was hard pressed for time, so he sent me pictures of the menu, screenshots, WhatsApp, it comes to you. And I'm like, I need to now add it all up, right? 1 roti, 200 rupees. How many rotis is the yatra going to eat? How much is going to be? So I need it to be in a spreadsheet. So I called up somebody at midnight here in USA who stays awake. And I said, can you please help me enter all these systems into the system? We both did it. And we were tortured. It's Ekadashi. And you're putting, dahi bhalla, butter paneer. And I've got, so the devotees are accustomed. We are accustomed to this kind of torture. We are doing it as part of our service. And even if no service apart, not eating food is a torture on the body. But the devotees are accustomed to that. So inconveniences, getting up early in the morning, taking cold shower, all that kind of stuff. So for them, if they live longer, they might even still desire to live longer because they want everything to be done in this life itself. Let me just go back. I've already got a human body. They might want to do that. But foolish don't understand. They want to live long. I remember going to a friend's mom's birthday, and she was 90. She was 90. She was so frail. It looked like if you touch her, she will fall down. Like that. It looked so fragile that, if you touch her, she will just break, like how a sugar cube can break if you touch it. She was that fragile. Intelligent, reading, but all material stuff. No trace of...
Yesterday I met one lady, our relative. She's 102 years old. And her memory was so fantastic. She remembers everything. When I was in India, she came to my house in Delhi. She was talking all that.
Yes. So people
102
remember.
Years old.
Yeah. And so without any comments on your friend and your acquaintance or aunt, the thing is that what are you remembering? Right? And we did that. We do that verse every time during the prasadam prayers. Sri Vishnu Shravane Parikshit Abhavut Vayasakir Kirtane Prahlada Smarane. So they're talking about how people got liberated. So Prahlad Maharaj got liberated just by hearing about Krishna. And who did he hear from? Sukadeva Goswami. And so Sukadeva Goswami got liberated just by speaking about Krishna. And then Prahlad got liberated by thinking about Krishna, because he did not have the right paraphernalia. He was born in a demon family. So there is no altar, no prasadam services at home, no nothing like that, right? No Bhagavad-gita, no Srimad Bhagavatam. So he would think about Krishna. So smarane. So that is the important thing. And later on, Parikshit Maharaj asked that question of Sukadeva Goswami, that what is the duty of a man about to die? And so he said, Ante Narayana Smriti. Right? Smriti, think about him. So what exactly are we thinking? And some people know, they will know all the 200 grandchildren, who was born when, who got married, everything they do. And that's fine. So if you have been endowed with a memory like that can retain so much and bring it back, immediately to the surface when you have to recall a piece of information, then how about using that for Krishna service? Right? So once you use it for Krishna service, then Brahma Arpanam Brahma Haver Brahmaneva Tena Gatavya. Right? Like that. So people do that. People will go and pray and do yagyas and do all kinds of things to get themselves to the higher planets. And what they're saying, why do they want to get to the higher planet? Enjoy. I mean, there was one of my colleagues back when I used to work in India. One of the colleagues used to say, he had a very funny sense of humor. He would say that Somebody in our office got divorced and he got married again. So he was like, I can't understand when people are divorced, why do they want to marry again? They already suffered through it. why do they want to suffer again? He said, if a person is very happy in his marriage, he should get another wife so that he can enjoy even more. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh gosh,
What
twisted. That is totally twisted.
That's what I'm saying. What a twisted mentality that is, right? But that is the mentality of most of the people and most of us, right? We're enjoying gulab jamun, we want one more. So similarly, the enjoyment, the tendency to enjoy is like, okay, but I have grandchildren and now I want my grandchildren to be married. Maybe I want to see my great grandchildren, but at some point I have to leave this body and I don't like it. And so I want to enjoy great grandchildren, great grandchildren. So how can I do that? Get a longer life. So you do your yagyas over here, get elevated to the higher planetary system, but Shine Purne Marta Lokam Vishanti. Your credits will expire, you'll be kicked out of the heavenly planets. And you have to come back again. Brahmane Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Beach. So he uses the word Brahmane Brahmite, Brahmande Brahmite. You're doing Brahma. You're going here and there. Just, where did you go? Yeah, I went to Los Angeles. From there, we flew to Chicago. Then we went to New York. Then we went to Hawaii, then Paris. Came back, like that. You came back. So this is what happens. So the idea is not to go into these circles at all. So the sacrifice also has to be done. And Krishna will explain as we progress in this chapter what is the right kind of sacrifice that you can do. So he's saying that, best of the Kuru dynasty, remember, although, that without sacrifice, no one can live happily on this planet. Don't even think about the next life of being happy over there. Archana Mataji has her hand raised. Archana, welcome to the class.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Mataji, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, we are discussing about the sacrifice and all, and Sukumal Mataji very nicely pointed, even if we have the desire to live long, what is the point? Because all those disease and everything will come. So you won't be happy anyways, you'll be having some bodily discomfort, which we are having when we are young as well. So there is no point. But I was just thinking, because we are eternal souls, and we are part and parcel of the Krishna, so we have the desire to live, right, Mataji? But because we are in this body, we think we are this body, and that's why we forget that we are eternal, right? So I was just thinking, because of the illusion, you can say because of the ignorance. So is there any way in which Krishna consciousness is obviously the best way to come out of that, and chanting also is helping. But other than that, can we do, you were giving examples of Prahlad Maharaj? He's obviously almost all the time, he was constantly remembering Krishna. But I'm not in that stage to remember Krishna all the time. So in that way, how I can, what can I put it? Advance in Krishna consciousness, you can say that.
Yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat
juhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kuru swamad arpanam.
Arpanam. So he's saying whatever you do, whatever you eat, right? You do that as an offering to me. So even if you're taking care of your daughter, even if you're taking care of your husband, try to see how you can take it as a service to the Lord. Right? Like Matajis, in some of the families, Matajis will become Krishna conscious, husbands are not Krishna conscious, right? And then, so earlier, the Mataji would say, when Mataji was not Krishna conscious, Matajis can say that, hey, let's go out, eat in restaurants. Let's go out. I'm tired of cooking 5 days. No, weekends, you take me out. It happens, right? And so they're going out to restaurants and all that. But when Mataji gets into Krishna consciousness, she doesn't want to go there, right? Instead, she wants everybody to eat her prasadam, right? So now the same cooking thing that was happening now becomes a Brahma Arpanam Brahma Haver, because you're cooking for Krishna. And not only that, you're also doing like Sukdev Goswami. Sukdev Goswami was Kirtitavya. He was trying to spread the glories of Krishna. Now, you're not spreading the glories of Krishna through your mouths, but you're spreading his glories through the prasadam. You're offering prasadam. I've come across ladies who have got family members who are very rebelliant against, as regards Krishna consciousness. So the Matajis will just offer some milk to the Lord and then pour the whole milk in the gallon of milk that is there in the home, so that others will eat prasadam. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nevasiyat. So every activity that you do could still be connected with Krishna consciousness. And then slowly as you get into that mood, right? And one of the interesting things is that Krishna talks about his opulences, and he says, Rasoham apsuto konteya. So he said, I am the taste in water, which basically means that even a simple act of drinking water or looking at water. I mean, how many times do we use water in our day? Tell me.
Countless.
Yeah,
Countless.
Mataji.
Right? You wash your hands, you wash your face, you wash your body, you brush your teeth, right? You cook, you clean.
Yeah, in fact, Mataji, we can survive for some days without food, but it's very difficult to survive without water. So in that case, you remember Krishna.
Yeah. So you can always say that, why do you have, whenever you're thirsty, you can say, oh, raso sutu konteya. So this way, through suitable practice, through sadhana, you will get into that stage of
okay. Yeah, Mataji, thank you so much for telling me that. And since you pointed that thing, like some Matajis, when they are actually growing in Krishna consciousness, they don't feel like going out and having food, in the restaurants or something like. Actually, same thing happens to me also at times. Like when weekend comes, and my family, like my husband says, like, let's go out and have food. Like I'll say, like I'll prepare something at home, but he'll like, no, let's go out and all. Then I have to go. In that case, sometimes I take some. I mean, like if I've offered dry fruits to Krishna, so I'll just take one raisin or something, and then I'll put that in the, when I'm what to do then, Mataji, like. Because at times I have seen, he'll not like it. So I said like, okay, what to do in that case. And tomorrow also we'll be having like some Diwali, party, and I'm not at all interested in going there as well. So I was just praying to Krishna, please, guide me.
Yeah. It happens. So Grahastha ashram is also a yajna. We read about that few verses ago, right? So staying in the Grahastha ashram is also a yajna, where sometimes, so normally we say that, you have to sacrifice your senses in the fire of senses, don't enjoy and things like that. But sometimes we have also, so we do enjoy prasadam, and sometimes just to make sure that by our activities, our family members should not become against Krishna. Neutral is still fine. Against Krishna is difficult, right? And so sometimes to maintain the family equilibrium, you have to do that. It was a very interesting thing that just a month or so ago, somebody was telling me about this. They said that, when it comes to our duties in life, they say that chanting, like if you have X number of hours in a day, what should be the priority in which you should do the various pieces of devotional service, right? So Prabhupada says that topmost is chanting. Topmost is chanting. And then, after chanting comes your service, and after service comes the reading. So if you're reading a chapter of Bhagavad-gita every day or 20 pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, somebody in the temple, and you have a service also to do, so you have to first do your service. Like that, right? So there is service to be done, then there is there's chanting to be done, and then service, and then swadhyaya, reading. That's the order in which Prabhupada said. Now, also on top of that, right, there was a man who took initiation in the morning. And then in the evening, he was getting married. And his spiritual master was there in both the ceremonies. So when he was getting married to his wife, then the spiritual master asked him that, so in the morning you made prayers, you made promises that, dedicating his life, no, nothing, no this, no that, right, all that. And then he said, now you are doing this Vivaha Yajna, right? You're getting married. So which is higher? Which of the two promises are higher? So the disciple immediately said that, the one that I did in the morning, I took initiation. And the spiritual master said, no. Your first responsibility is for the wife that you're married, for your family. So sometimes because of the family, and then, trying to maintain a harmony and staying Krishna consciousness, which just means Mukhe Prasada. From our mouth, good words should come out, even to the spouse. So that is a big sacrifice. That is a very
rightly said. And that's the reason I sometimes go and then inside I'll just say, Krishna, I'm so sorry what to do in this aspect, because I cannot just disregard my
you go there and you can also adjust. And I think, it's also got to do with Mukha Prasada and being nice and sweet. And you read in Srimad Bhagavatam so many times, there is narrations of wife was very sweet. She spoke sweet words. Prabhupada also says the wife does. Sweetness is very important, madhuram, right? Madhur. And so if we are sweet, and I'm talking about general, right? In general, if the wife is sweet, then the husband also, in general, will reciprocate nicely. And the wife is extra sweet, then, they stay contained. So then they will adjust to your things. If you're saying that, it's a negotiation. Like, I can come with you, but how about I have roti and dahi only, because there's onion and everything else, and I don't eat. I don't like to eat. So let's compromise on that. I'm going there for company. It's not that for the food. We're going there for company. I can eat the sweet, I can eat this. So just try to avoid all those kind of things, right? I'll have curd rice, those kind of things. So you can still adjust slowly, because bhavagrahi Janardhan, Krishna understands.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji, for pointing that as well. That also I've tried, whenever I go out, I'll just order, some paratha or something, some aloo paratha like that.
Yeah. And
but he understands, okay, you're avoiding onion and garlic. That's why you're not ordering anything like that.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as I'm not forcing you, and, like that, and you're eating it. So it's, Our intentions inside should not be that I want to go to the restaurant and I want to enjoy it. But sometimes we're forced to do it. Like, even if it's an office get together, you have got to go and you've got to eat, right? So that is a yajna. Because there on the table there is so much variety of food, right? On the buffet there's so much variety of food, and you're not eating 99% of it. That is a yajna. It's a sacrifice you're doing. There was nothing that was preventing you from saying, okay, once in a while I can eat it, but you're saying, no, I'm not going to. That's nishtha, not determination. I'm not going to do it.
Can I say something, Mataji, in this regard? Like, you were talking about the office thing, right? So, like, I just remember, by Krishna's mercy only, like, for the first day when I went to my office, so, like, during the orientation time, they have put something on the table to have, like, everybody is having, because they have put like donuts and all, which contains egg and all. So everybody was eating. They were like, you can have it. I said, no, thank you. I don't eat egg. I'm a vegetarian. Thank you so much. And then, you know what? After some time, Mataji, it was like unbelievable for me, There was a box containing bundi laddus. And, one of the, it's not devotee, somebody has kept it there, and they were like, I think you're from India. I said, yeah, originally I'm from India. Then you must be liking laddus. I said, yeah, that's fine. And then they gave me the box of laddu, and then I offered it to Krishna once I came back from the office, and then I ate that prasadam. So Krishna really actually helps, whenever I need him. He does help me.
Yeah, Krishna actually helps. And some of the things that they think about is that I've noticed that so the approach is kind of, sometimes it can get to us that when we are Krishna conscious, that we must start looking down upon everybody. That this is a meat eater, this is an onion eater, this is a garlic eater. I don't do any of these. I'm superior. Right? That mentality subtly, it comes in a very subtle manner. It can come. And then when you are thrown into office environment, and then you see that, these meat eaters, etc., also have got finer aspects to them. Like when they see you eating or not eating, actually, then they feel bad. From their side, they're thinking this person is not enjoying, and then they went out of the way. And I'm just thinking that person got so much of sukriti arranging something for a devotee. Just imagine how much sukriti they did seva.
Yeah, it was actually there on the table. I did not realize that, I have got my prasadam from here, from the home, and it was there on the table. So she just said, like, if you want to have some laddus, you can have it, Arjuna. I said, no, thank you. That's okay. No. That's, one of person, I think he was from Pakistan. His mother made it, it seems. So she said, like, you can have it. I said, okay. So I took one. Then she said, no, you can have all of them, because, nobody in the office, they eat it. I said, okay, fine. So I took the whole box containing 4 or 5 laddus.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I gave it to...
Yeah. Vaishya Kapoor also says sometimes that, and that we had a nice lecture from Radhika Raman about accepting gifts from others. And so that sometimes it'll happen that people are so happy with you, especially those from this country, they're so happy with you. And then guess what? On your table the next day is a large bottle of wine. I used to get so many wine bottles when I was working at Oracle now. Luckily, I don't go to office. I just work from home. So it's a different thing. But so no wine bottles for me. But so he says that somebody brings a wine bottle, just take it. Or brings you a cake which has got eggs in it, just take it. Don't break their heart. You just take it, and then you have the liberty then to put it in the trash can. But don't do it in front of them, or don't tell them too much about, this and that. You don't have to eat it. You can always take it and eat it later. Like, like you said with the laddus, that I will eat it later. So,
No, yeah, it was in the middle actually, in the middle of the orientation time. Yeah. So they had offered to have something, and then again we went back to the orientation. So it's not like I can keep it, somewhere, or I can just do it. But yeah.
And that is when there is a mental offering to Krishna, You offer to Krishna, bless it, yeah. And this is Agyat Sukriti. This is all Agyat Sukriti. The person from Pakistan, his mom made the laddu.
I was so amazed,
This exactly is Agyat Sukriti. So definitely destined for goodness, the laddu maker, Mataji, yeah.
Mataji, yeah.
They didn't do it out of any knowledge. They didn't do it knowingly. And this is what is called Agyat. You don't know.
Yeah. I've sent a personal, message to him saying that thank you so much. His name is Azhar. So thank you so much. The laddus were amazing, and please convey my thanks to your mom as well. So he was very happy. That's okay.
Yeah. So not everybody is bad, actually. And that is and that's why Krishna loves everybody. Because everybody has got goodness in them. Everybody's a soul, right? Yeah. So Komalade Mataji, you have your hand raised.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that, every Diwali, we are a group of 5 Gujarati families that we meet and celebrate Diwali. And none of them are into ISKCON, but they're all devotees in their own way. And we started this when the kids were very young, before I joined ISKCON. So it would be very rude to now say that I don't eat outside, and I know that they all cook very authentic food without onion garlic, especially for Diwali. So I do go every year for that, and I don't want to make them feel bad that now I'm into this, so I'm not going to eat or something. I go and I eat whatever I can. So
thank you so much, Mataji, for telling me. Yeah, I also try to go to people's place, but yeah, for you're telling they are devotees and they cook at least vegetarian food, right? But for me, I'm going to a Punjabi family, so she'll be cooking. I mean, she's not cooking; she'll be ordering some non-veg. I don't have any bad feelings for non-veg. I can sit and I can happily have my vegetarian stuff, but somehow I feel I'm getting disconnected with the Lord, because then the vibrations will be not that pure. That is the only concern I'm having. Other than that, it's completely fine.
Association means that when you are mentally tuned with the activities of the person you are associating with. So if you are sitting and eating food with somebody who eats non-vegetarian, and you are saying that, yeah, eating non-vegetarian is good, then that is the bad effect that is coming on you, right? If you are saying that, okay, I won't eat non-vegetarian because of the various reasons we have read in the Shastras, but still I am here just to make because of my social duties, then that's okay. So that Bhavgrahi Janardhan, Krishna is sitting in your heart and he knows what's going on. Right? The reason people say that if possible to avoid is that because the chance is there. The chances are there. Then the friend will start insisting, they will start sweet words and, just try once. And then after saying no 6 times, 7 times, you might say, okay, now let's maintain peace. Let me eat a little bit of this. Oh no, this is egg. This egg was not supposed to, become a chicken at all. It was, the egg itself was fertilized in a different way. The egg was born for being eaten. They will tell you.
Right.
Meera Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna. I actually really liked your question, Archana Mataji. It was kind of my question too. So it was really well explained today. And Sukumala's Mataji, I have been in that position. So yeah, I do go and visit them. But for me, it's to remember Krishna all the time because it's it doesn't come easy all the time. Every now and then I do remember, but as much as possible, if I go out, I also don't take the food that I think it has garlic and onions in it. Yeah. But at times it is challenging. And there was another point that was brought up, that when we offer bhog here at home, for example, you said you put the glass of milk into the whole gallon of milk, so everybody has prasadam. They don't have to know at home, right, that I did it, right?
Now, here's the thing, that when was the last time you had some illness? Any small type of illness?
Just feeling very tired yesterday.
Yeah. And any time that you were sick and you took some medicine?
Oh, yeah. Of Tylenol or...
Yeah, something like that. When was that?
Yeah.
When was that?
And I take metformin, yeah.
Yeah. So let's take that equation when you had some fever and you took a Tylenol, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you took a Tylenol. And so can you tell me what is the formula of Tylenol? What it's composed of? What is the chemical formula of Tylenol?
Not everything. Nothing at all.
Did it act on you?
Yes.
That's it. So medicine will act whether you know about it or not. Similarly, prasadam will act whether they know it is prasadam or not.
Oh, wow. Okay, thanks.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
That is why the interesting thing is that once we went on book distribution, there was a, obviously non-Vaishnava couple, and we gave the books and all that. The wife was interested, husband was a little bit rigid, like, no, don't do it. And then we said, okay, how about some cookies? And the hand goes, right, cookie. He said, no, don't eat it. Don't eat it. Something's going to happen to you. We don't take prasadam. We don't take this prasadam. They're going to give that to you. You'll get converted. They understand the potency of prasadam.
Wow.
Prasadam is potent. Yeah, it does change. But they don't have to know. It'll still act, right?
Nice.
And so we were talking about life and how people want to live a long life, and but the devotees don't care about the inconveniences that we have in life, right? In fact, when Narsimha Dev comes, right? Keshavidhitta Narhari Rupa, right? So when he comes there, and then afterward, when he's so angry, right? Everybody gets angry, and so the devtas, etc., who were devtas were getting scared when Hiranyakashipu was giving up bad time to Prahlad, and they were not supporting Prahlad. And then Narsimha Dev comes and he's so very angry, and everybody got scared, and so they went to the various corners to hide their face. You go to the corner, you hide your face, so only your back is visible. And then somebody said that Brahma also went, but Brahma has a problem. He can't hide his face. He has four.
Foreheads.
He goes to a corner, his face is still facing Krishna. So don't think that having four faces is a very good thing. It comes with its own problem. Everything in this material world comes with its own problems. So they're all hiding. Then they say, what did they do? Then they turn to Lakshmi. Hey, you are the wife. At least the husband won't shout too much at the wife. Wife can pacify the husband. She says, I've never seen him like that. I'm not going there. You guys did it. You handle it. And then what did they do? They pushed poor Prahlad. Like, hey, he came for you. So now you go and take care of it, right? And then Prahlad Maharaj prays, and he's so touched, right? And he puts his hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head. So I forgot the context why I brought this story for you. Can you remind me what was the topic I was saying? In which context? What was the main thing I was saying before this? About the story of Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah, so he was very happy with him. And then he says that, you take anything that you want, kingdom, opulence, this, that, and that, right? And he says, no. Wow. He says, come with me. Come with me, I'll take you. He says, no, I have to stay with these fools and rascals. That's how I translate that. What will happen to them? So that is what the devotee does. He doesn't care. He says, okay, a guru might think that let me live for 90 years, 100 years to take care of these foolish disciples that I have. For them, he will want to live longer. So the mood of a devotee and the mood with which a devotee wants to live long is very different from a mood. I mean, I remember my brother was a surgeon and he was in one of the Gulf countries, and there's a reverse dowry system. So in India, the girls pay the dowry. At least large parts of India, the girl has to pay the dowry to get married, right? But there, the man has to pay the dowry, right, to get the women. So if you're rich, you can get any girl by, paying dowry. So like a 80-year-old man will have a 16-year-old wife. And now a man wants to become young, so they would come to my brother and say that, can you operate on me? Can you make me young? Yeah, that's so wanting to live longer so that I can marry more girls. Not good. Not good. So the reason, see, Prahlad Maharaj's reason is so different. That he's being offered opulences and nice, and he says, come with me to the heavenly planets, I'll take you this and I'll take you that. He says, no, I have to stay here. Who will take care of these? That's the mood. There was one more hand. Was it Sukamal Radhe Mataji, your hand again, or is this an old hand?
Oh, sorry. I thought I did it.
Okay.
I did it, but I just took it out.
You took it off? Okay, yeah, I remember it's one hand.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. I can lower the hand for you. Okay, you got it. Okay. All right. So shall we go into the purport?
Yes.
This was a good discussion. Yeah. Okay. So without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What to talk about then of the next life that we have? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of his real situation. In other words, existence in the material world is due to multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The path of religion, or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above, means in the previous verses, automatically solves our economic problems. By performance of yajna, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc., even if there is so-called increase of population. When the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulative sense gratification. Therefore, one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage, and the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by the performance of yajna sacrifice, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life even in this body, and what to speak of another body on another planet? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets, and in all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yajna. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by the practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. Hari Om. So, problems of material existence. So what is a problem? What do you think is a problem?
Every problem is solved, Mataji, if you are in Krishna consciousness.
What is a problem? What is a problem?
Mataji, problem is we create problems. Our mind creates the problems. I mean, that
What
is
is the
what
problem?
I have realized.
But what is a problem?
Ignorance. Ignorance.
Senses are the problems, I thought.
No.
Huh? What is a real problem?
Our senses, Mataji,
They are the cause of the problem.
cause of the problem.
What is a problem? What is a real problem?
We don't have knowledge.
Yeah. So when we have teenagers have full of problems, right? And then and the parents look at the teenager, do they think that teenager is having a problem?
Even though they
Only
know
did not smile.
they ignore it.
Yeah. Like, girls will be like, oh, he did not smile at me. He did not look at my way. Teenagers do that, right? Is that a problem?
Yes.
Really a problem.
For them it is.
For them it is,
For
right?
them it is problem.
Yeah, so but then it is not a real problem, because for them it's a problem, but for you it is not a problem. So that is not a real problem. What is a real problem?
Oh.
Right? So real problems are problems that are applicable to everybody.
Okay.
Right? They're applicable to everybody. That is a real problem. And it cannot be solved. Then it is a problem. Right? For example, if my neighbor plays loud music, is that a problem? Yes, it might sound like a problem, but it is not a problem. Why? Because you can solve it in so many ways, right? The quiet way will be to leave that neighborhood. The next way will be to complain to the homeowner association or complain to the police. Worst will be to go talk to the neighbor. And, so there are so many ways that you can get rid of that problem. Put earplugs, the problem is gone.
Earplugs.
Real
I mean,
the real problems
I
are
always
they
do
will
that.
apply. Yeah, they will always apply to everybody.
So
They will apply at all the time, right? And then for them, there is no solution.
So isn't that just material existence then?
Yes. Birth, death, old age, and disease.
Yeah,
These are the 4 problems.
yeah,
that we
that
have.
everyone has, right?
Yes, those are the only 4 problems of life. And the last sentence, Krishna said, by taking to Krishna consciousness, only will the problems of life be solved. So those problems will be solved by taking to Krishna. Because when people say that, all your problems are solved, so don't expect that I was not having enough money and I started chanting, so now I'll win the $1 million lottery. My money problems will be solved. It doesn't happen that way. For all that, you might lose even more money because Krishna is trying to make you a kanchana, right? So, but he's making you rid of the 4 real problems that you have in life, which was to get into a womb, getting out of the body, getting sick, and having to eat medicines for which we don't know the formula. And still the medicines act. Yeah, and then old age. Right? Nobody can.
The oldest problems, there's no medicine for that.
There you go. Yeah.
Doctors say, no,
That's it.
you have to get along with that.
Yes, the doctors just say that, yeah, you have to live with it.
Live with it.
Yeah. I mean, this is so funny. And doctors will tell you, and I've got quite a few here who are associated with doctors. It's so amazing that, when the doctors are treating a patient, a really critical patient, so they will say that, he has got this problem, that problem. He'll say, yeah. But right now I have to focus on this one. Only others will happen. You feel so helpless, that I have to solve a bigger problem you're having right now.
Mataji, yesterday my husband went for some problem to the doctor and there was a discussion and he finally said, you have to live with it.
Yeah, that's what they say. No.
Yeah.
At an age, we have to be that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is a problem. And one of the problems is to accept, that acceptance that I'm old. And yeah, I still remember I was.
Mataji, I can't hear you.
We cannot hear you.
We cannot hear you. I thought you were joking.
Can't hear me?
We can't hear you.
Now we can
Now
hear.
we can
What did
hear.
you say, Mataji?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't do anything. So maybe my network is giving from. I was saying that, when I was 50, I was running down the staircase. And it's not that I fell, but when I put my foot on the last stair, my foot just twisted like that. And then my ankle had a sprain and then I was in trouble. And so I was coming to the temple, I was limping in the temple. And then Keshav Bharati Maharaj asked me that, what happened? So I said, this is what happened. He said, Shraddha, this is how he said, you are 50. You have to remember, you can't behave like a 25. You can't run.
That's what my daughter says all the time to me.
Yeah.
Your brain is 16 years old, but you don't behave like your body won't listen.
Body won't cooperate. Yeah.
Cooperate.
Body doesn't cooperate. So we have to be careful. Yeah. Yeah, like that. So those are the real problems that we have got in life. But then again, here we saw some very interesting things, right? How Prabhupada is explaining about and I think one of you also brought it up, is that we think that we are this body and that is why we have all these sufferings. Meera, are you asking a question or is there an old hand that you forgot to lower?
No. It was really, I thought it was funny when you mentioned about the neighbor. I just have a new neighbor about a month ago. He is so loud. His music is so loud. I can hear in every part of my house his loud music. And his dogs bark constantly for hours at times. In the past few days, it has been good, but I have approached him twice nicely because, I'll see what I'll do. But even he talks in the morning when I wake up, he's there, he talks, he goes, and I can hear everything. I never knew anybody this loud, and I don't know how to handle it.
That will be topic for another discussion.
Yeah, it is actually very annoying.
What Bhagavad-gita has to say about loud neighbors?
I'll have to wait for that answer.
Tam titikshasva bharata. Tolerate. Yeah.
Tolerate, yeah.
You start saying Bhagavad-gita slokas loudly, Mataji.
Yeah. You start your own music now.
Then he will come to Krishna conscious. That's it.
I don't think so. I have the capacity to be that loud.
Yeah.
When he's working in his backyard, he has loud music. Oh my God. Even the other neighbors across the road, he goes, I go, oh my God, at least they don't hear what I hear. We are the closest to him.
Don't worry, Krishna will take care. Somebody will call the cops. Yeah, they will call the cops. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened. Don't worry. Yeah. I also had a neighbor like that. And when my daughter used to live, so you know how children can walk fast. So she walked fast, and something happened. She ran from one room to another room, and they used to live below us. So he took a broom and he started beating on his ceiling, and it was horrible. He was beating it so hard that my furniture was moving on my home. So, but I did complain to the owner association. I wrote to them and I told them about that, and he was argumentative. He said they are making noise and all that. So some conversation happened. I also told my daughter to be careful, and somebody is living down below. And then they had a child and they had a party. And then the whole night they played music so loud. And I don't know, it was bass, whatever it was. My bed was shaking from the music, drums and all that. And then they had cigars. They were also having that. So it was a nightmare in the night that both my husband and I, we would put pillows on our head and we were trying to go to sleep. And then the next day, of course, I complained to the homeowner association and they said, you're not the only one. You're complaining in the morning. People were calling them the whole night, asking to try. They called the cops on him and things like that. So, and then finally he went away. So that's what Krishna is saying. Agam apanyo anityas. These are not permanent. They won't happen all the time. If you're in capacity, if that to call the police cops, you call it. But sometimes the neighbors are so nasty. You call the cop will come. He'll go away. But now you're left with the neighbor, right? Wow. And it takes some time for the cop to come to your home. So you make your decisions and your judgments according to, the time, place, and circumstance that you are in. Like that. Otherwise, Krishna says just tolerate. It's noise only.
Okay, thanks.
Right? Yeah, it's not noise only, right? He can come and do other things also. Right?
Yeah.
With a knife. Anybody can do that. Yeah.
If it's in India, cops also won't do anything. Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give them for 10 rupees and they'll go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, so it is past 7 o'clock, the time now. I just wanted to bring a few more things, but at least I'll bring one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. We don't feel satisfied till we touch the Bhagavatam, right? Bhagavad-gita. So Krishna has been talking a lot about sacrifices, right? And so when you do some tax sacrifices, there is austerity involved by default in those sacrifices, right? Right, there is something you have to give up, something difficult you have to.
Yeah. So
there are some nice teachings of Shraddha-devi, who's an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and so we'll take up a verse or two from the Bhagavatam. And so Shraddha-devi is explaining that Shraddha-devi had 100 sons, and they go and do various things, but the For the first, among the first 10 sons that he had, the 10th was Maharaj Bharat. Bharat Maharaj, right? The one who was
Who had to be
illusioned by the deer. Yeah, the one who was illusioned by the deer. So he's that. So let's go here. Chapuvacha Nayam Deho Deh Bhajam Niloke Kashtan Kaman Arhate Vidbhujam Ye Tapo Divyam Putraka Yena Satvam Shuthet Yasmat Brahma Sakyam Tvanantam. And this is a strong verse. And look at how strong the father is teaching to his sons. He's saying, Lord Rishabhdev said to his sons, told his sons, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activities, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal bliss. He attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So this he is talking about what to talk about this life. You won't get happiness in this life if you are ayagyasya, if you don't do yagya, right? But if you're doing sacrifice, doing your austerities, then he's saying that you will get the thing. But something so important, that's such an interesting thing he's talking about. And that also explains to you the laws of karma. He's saying that one should not work hard day and night to get things that are even available for the dogs and hogs, right? And it is such an interesting thing that animals don't have to work, but they do get food, right? I mean, when they go old, it might be difficult, right? But even for us, with all the hard work that we do and all the money that we create for old age, still in the old age, we might not get food, even though we are capable of cooking the food. You know, you can't digest it. You can't enjoy it, or you might have a servant who doesn't treat you properly, or family who doesn't treat you properly. They don't even give you the food that you worked so hard for in the first place, right? So it can happen like that. And so any of the eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending, mating, right? These are the enjoyments, that 4 enjoyments, right? Corresponding to the, not corresponding, but together with the birth,
death, old age,
and disease, right? These are the 4 that you do. In order to do these 4, you want to go through that cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. He says, see, look at that. For that, even a dog can get it. What does a dog not get, right? But for a human being, if he wants to enjoy, he wants to get a wife, the wife's parents are going to say, what do you earn? Are you able to take care of my daughter? I won't give you my daughter till you tell me that you're going, yes, you're able to support her. So he has to work really hard to get the same joy that the dog will get. Very, very strong. And he's saying, not in like vid bhujame. Vid means stool. And what is stool? Stool is leftover from the body, right? You ate nice food, but then, whatever was good, body takes, and whatever is not good, the body rejects it. And that hog goes and eats that. Right? So he's saying that, these kind of happiness is available even to those. So now that you have got a human body, he's emphasizing that fact that you have got a human body, you're not a dog. And so now the law of karma, how I was saying that how it connects to this one is that if we have too much of sense desires, too much to indulge in any of these eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending, you can get all of that in your next life. You can become a python and sleep your whole life. You can become a dog. You can become a hog to eat everything like that, right? But you have got a human body. You've got a superior intellect. So for using that superior intellect, you should be able to do something better, right? And that's what he's saying, that you should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. Divine position, Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havir, Brahmanevati Nagantavya. Right? So that is how you go and do that. So very, very important. And then in the next verse, there are a couple of verses. I'll take one more from that chapter. It's a beautiful chapter. Anybody wants to read the whole of it, should definitely, I encourage them to read the whole chapter. And so now here, In the next verse he's saying, Mahat sevam dwaram ahurmovaktes tamo dwaram yoshitam sangi sangam mahantaste samachittaha prashanta vimanyavaha suhrida sadhavo ye. He's saying one can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, it doesn't matter. If they are Mahatmas, you render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. Mahatmas are equipoised. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and are fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. So he's emphasizing, he's saying that you spend your life and your energies in doing that. Serve the Mahatmas, right? And don't go after and associate with people who are men who are attached to women and, like that. So then continuing on, those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They're not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders. Nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and the soul together. So one type of people, right? And trying to just, not earn enough money and still keep the body and soul together, making both ends meet itself is a sacrifice. Then this is a very famous one. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yat indriya priteya aprinoti na sadhu manye yat atmanoyam asan api kleshada ashadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he suddenly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activities. He does not know that due to his past misdeed, he has already achieved a body, which, though temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after the other. So I'll stop over here and open up for any more discussion points, any thoughts, any ideas, any questions you have. We can take them for a few more minutes, till 15 minutes past the hour. Meera Mataji, is that a question?
Yes.
Okay.
So you said that if we offer bhog, that itself can become a yagna.
Yes.
But at that time, we offer the prayer Mahaprasade Govinda. Why don't we say Brahma Arpanam at that time?
Well, you can say that also. That's the thing. As you can see in our temple,
I was just curious.
Yeah. In the temple, we keep on adding more and more prayers. And so if you keep on adding more and more prayers to the Prasadam Sevya prayers, what kind of a sacrifice is that?
It will become long. People will be restless if it is a long prayers.
It's a long prayer. Yeah. So you control of senses. You're trying to control your senses by adding one more, squeezing in one more prayer, like that.
I usually, when I offer prasadam, God, I usually Brahmarpanam Brahma Vihaya.
So then also Meera Mataji, so there are prayers that you will, when you're offering the bhoga, those are called bhoga offering prayers, right? So they are prayers that the person on the altar will recite when they are offering the bhoga to Krishna. That will be a different prayer. The prayers that we do before we have the prasadam in the temple are called prasadam prayers. So those prayers will be glorifying the prasadam. That's why I say prasade sarva dukkhanam hanir. So they are prasad, mercy. So the prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya prajayate prasanna chetasya su buddhi pariyavasishtase. So that particular verse is not talking literally about prasad as we eat. Not that prasad. The word prasad actually means mercy of the Lord. And mercy of the Lord can come in many ways. And one of the ways in which we get mercy of the Lord is to have his remnants. Right? Last week we talked about uchishta. Right? Given up whatever Lord has given up, we take. Yeah? Right? Shrigandha Vasolankara Chartita, right? That particular verse. Uchistara Bhojano Vasi. So we take that. So that's why, Mati, there's a difference between this prayer and that prayer. And so when you are offering food to the Lord, you want the Lord to be happy. So we can sing as many prayers as we like to glorify them. But sometimes they will bring such prayers that talk about, bhoga, right? Bhaja bhakata vatsalagi gorahari. That song talks about how somebody eats, and Tambula, he eats this, and then he eats this, and then he eats that, right? So I had a friend who used to offer, Sham rasiya mere man basiya, ruchi ruchi bhog lagao rasiya. Such a sweet one, right? Jo mere sham ka bhog lagaye, tar jaye chaurasi ki lakh rasiya. So it's a very deep. So I've noticed that some of these prayers that people sing in India, they're so deep rooted in philosophy. So he's saying, Jo mere sham ka bhog lagaye, tar jaye chaurasiya lakh rasiya. So what he's saying is that one who offers the bhoga with love to my sham, right? That person crosses what? 84 lakh. What? Living, taking birth in 84 species, a lakh species of life. So glorifying devotional service. And, she didn't know the meaning of that. She was just memorized because her mom was singing it. So she's singing it. But most of our folk songs and these kind of, the prayers that we have inherited from our family members, they are really deep. The sad part is they don't understand the meaning of that. And that's why we are so grateful to Prabhupada for having translated the books into English so that we can understand them in an easy manner. So that's what he has said.
So, Mataji, this 424 can be some when we are offering the bhoga, no? Brahma.
Yeah, you can offer it anytime, right? Not just bhoga, anytime. You can sit it in front. When you sit down to read, you can say Brahma Arpanam Brahmavi because you're offering something. See, that is the essence of these 4 or 5 verses that we are reading all these weeks, is to remind everybody that sacrifice just doesn't mean, or an offering to God doesn't mean that you make a laddu and you put it on the altar. You can offer your intelligence, you can offer your sense control, right? Those are also offerings to the Lord. I offer my silence to the Lord. Right? I offer my sense control. I will not speak anything bad about it. I will not think anything bad about things. That's more difficult. Like that. I will be watchful of what thoughts are coming across my mind. All these are Brahmarpanam Brahma Havir. You are doing it for Krishna.
Wow. Thank you for
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Welcome. All righty. Shall we call it a break today? Any more questions? Any last thoughts? Any comments? Are you ready for Prasadi Sarva Dukkhana?
No, ready for Damodar Ashtakam.
Damodar Ashtakam. Yes, very good. See, that's how devotee thinks. Okay, so then I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook as well as here on Zoom, watching us on YouTube. Vanchikalpatarupyascha kripasindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hari Hari
Hari Bol.
Okay,
Thank you so
Shraddha
much, Shraddha
Mataji.
Mataji. Thank you so much, Sukomal
Thank you so
Mataji.
much.
Thank you so much, Meera
Thank you
Mataji.
so much.
Well,
Thank you.